because the mayor basically was doing a solo mission by himself. And I mean, a lot of people would call it dictatorship. Is basically what it came down to. He was not allowing citizens to talk at city council meetings. I mean, the whole nine yards. Anything negative towards him, or bringing up issues, he silenced them at city council meeting.
Welcome back, viewers, watchers, listeners. I'm your host, Tyler Owen. We are remote today as we are all in TMPA preparing for the 2026 TMPA Texas FOP Conference there in Dallas, July 24th through the 26th. And in my conversations today, I was speaking with one of our field reps, Leighton Guarnere, down in the Houston area, and decided we're going to pop on. There's been a lot of stuff going on there in the Houston area with the news of the recent Texas City election and some of the success coming out of there. So we're going to touch on that. And then he's got some referendums of that Leighton's been working on, and kind of wanted to touch base with him and, give an explanation. Me being from East Texas and deep East Texas near Shreveport, Louisiana, and the Tyler area, unfortunately, I've not had that many, much experience with referendums. And so for our members out there that, may have a possibility that they're interested in something like that, Leighton's going to kind of cover the start to finish of how that started. So without further ado, Leighton, how the hell are you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing great, Tyler. How about you?
Good, man. Good. You taking care of them grandbabies?
Oh yeah, keeping me busy.
Leighton has recently become a grandfather to two within, I think, 6 months. And so, man, it's a good time, I'm sure, to be a granddad and also work for TMPA, but he's also busy with other stuff. I guess let's dive off into first, man. Talk about conference real quick, 'cause I think it's important for different perspectives of what your first conference was like, how you see it's important for our members to attend those, and kind of what benefit do you feel like some of our members get by attending our annual conference?
Yeah, sure. So I've been to, I think, 17 conferences since I've been working at TMPA. Uh, I'll tell you, whenever I was a full-time officer on the streets, I didn't realize the importance of, conferences, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to me, if you're an officer out there, and especially if you're on a board of a local association or wanting to get involved in stuff like that, uh, it is very important that you go to our conference, because there's a lot of networking that goes on. Even they talk about issues that they may have be going on, and you can bounce it off each other and help each other out, plus exchange contact information, stuff like that. That's a huge deal. Plus, you get to know the employees of TMPA and actually the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
how it operates.
Yeah, for sure. And what's funny, Clint always brings this up, is that you can come to our conference and you can have conversations with men and women that are in that conference world that represent agencies from 10 all the way to Doug Griffith, who represents HPOU, and those guys. So it's really important for the networking aspect for our members to show up and also see kind of how the bread is made. Historically, TMPA was started and founded with the beginning of the conferences, and that's kind of where the elections take place and where our board of directors, they meet once a year and they're elected, and those 18 peace officers, full-time peace officers, are kind of the ones that direct where this organization goes and kind of where we finish. And so it's good for our members, really people who we serve, get to see kind of how the bread is made in that sense. And so, again, we encourage everybody, if you have not ever been, our conferences have always been family friendly, but I think we've done a really good job of navigating through some of the different challenges as we've grown to kind of focus in on, we want families to come and be more of a family reunion. You and I had that conversation last time, is you've got two boys, three boys, and they have all had their conference attendances there. And when they show up, they see kids that, their dads were past presidents, or their parents were, field reps, or our field reps. I know Tony Reich's got, some children, and as well as other field reps do, but it's pretty cool. It's turned into a family reunion, at least from my perspective, me going since 2017.
I agree with you 100%. And I'll be honest with you. We have guys that show up almost every year, ever since I've been working at TMPA, that I've got to know real well, came close with, we're family friends with. And like you said, the wives get to meet each other. The purse bingo that goes on, a couple other things that involve the wives, the kids Especially the younger ones are usually out playing together and stuff like that. And it truly is a family atmosphere.
It is. It is. And this year is going to be kind of different. Every 2 years, TMPA for the last, Leighton, probably 6 years, every 2 years, we and TMPA and Texas FOP have a joint conference. And so are we standardized probably around, I don't know, last time it was 600 to 700 attendees with when you include spouses and children involved. So it's a really cool opportunity for you to come network, be a part of the conversations that need to be had. And it's a summer getaway. This year, again, it'll be in Dallas there at the Reunion Tower at the Hyatt downtown. So it'll be a good time. Again, if you want to go ahead and check that out at conference, visit tmpa.org and register you and your family. I think there's a reasonable price, I think, for spouses and kids. And so take advantage of those. And we look forward to seeing you guys there. So moving on, you and I had a conversation, man, it's been probably a year ago. I remember it clear as day. I was standing by a river on a Friday afternoon around 5:30. And like a lot of our association leadership does, we both got a phone call. And that phone call was from leadership within Texas City Municipal Police Association. And it was just talking about poor leadership, retaliatory leadership within the association. And it all kind of continued to point to a specific person, and that being the mayor of Texas City. And sometimes Leighton, you can pick this up whenever you want to. The most difficult part about being a field representative is sometimes explaining situations to our members that we want to help and we want to solve your problems. But the reality is that sometimes we just can't. We can't immediately solve a problem. So the advice you gave them that day was that we need to do everything we can to get somebody elected in Texas City that is pro law enforcement and support the men and women of the Texas Municipal Police Association. And that's exactly what just happened last week. Talk about the plan of action and kind of talk about the execution, but talk about kind of the relief, you being a part of that election process and seeing kind of how it all played out.
Okay, if I get too lengthy, let me know.
Yeah.
This is something I'm pretty passionate about because that's one of our main job functions as a field rep is when a fire happens at a city, and the POA or even places that doesn't have a POA, officers reach out to us and say, "Hey, here's the problem. What can we do? What can y'all do?" One of the first things that I say is, "Look, I don't have a magic wand. No other police organization has a magic wand. It all starts at the local level." And so we go through basically, their political capital within their city or their county, and discuss some things. And when this came up, it was actually almost 2 years ago, believe it or not. It's been a while.
Crazy.
And I'll never forget because I went through a summer of like three different presidents, like in a short period of time at Texas City. So I knew there was a problem before we like dove deep into it. And when Rachel took over as president, Rachel Spar took over as president there, we began having phone conversations and meetings between me and her, and then sometimes me, her, and the board, me, her, and attorneys. And we started coming up with a game plan of what we can do to try to fix the culture at Texas City. Texas City is a mayor strong form of government, which makes it very difficult because you can't have city council putting pressure on a city manager. This is a person that was elected and they're there for 2 years. And so we started out, if you want me to go through the timeline real
Yeah, for
quick.
sure. I think it's important.
Okay. So what we did was we did a management survey, and management surveys are usually kind of a last ditch effort type of deal to try to fix things. And so what we did was we got everybody's email within the city, that worked for the police department from the chief on down. And I sent out emails to each person. I think at the time they were around 81 is how many we sent out. And we had 67 actually take the survey out of the 81, 82 that I sent. So pretty high number. And so when all those results came back, it was all done over Survey Monkey. There was no way for somebody to take it more than once. Each person had one opportunity to take the survey. So it's very good way that we do it. to where it can't be manipulated or anything like that. And then the results are the results. We put it together, come up with a packet, and I brought it to the POA. We discussed, and I told them that the first thing that we need to do is we need to bring it to the chief of police, because we feel like if there's an issue with the chief or anybody in administration, it needs to go to the chief first to where he's aware and can't say that he wasn't aware of a situation or issues at the department. And so I drove all the way to Texas City from Chambers County, and as I was getting out of my car in the parking lot, I got a phone call, and the chief said he wasn't going to meet with me. So that was pretty disheartening. So I left there and I went straight to City Hall to give a copy to the mayor, and the mayor refused to answer. Like, I got there and they were like, he's not available. I was like, okay, here's my card. Please let him give me a call. He never called me back. I called several times up there, left messages. He would never acknowledge me at all. So then you fast forward, when the mayor or the chief wouldn't meet with us, we brought it to city council, and that was when everything kind of exploded. I got up and spoke to city council with the survey, the management survey, and the mayor blatantly in front of me told me that he's not going to recognize it and he doesn't want to see it. And so after that, we had to basically, reevaluate everything that was going to go on. In the meantime, it started getting traction, and some civilians stepped up and said they wanted to do a petition, try to do a petition to try to
Recall the mayor.
yeah, recall the mayor. And the citizens that did that, there was some miscommunication with the city or what have you, and then the city comes back and says, well, you don't have enough votes to do the recall, and that went away. In the meantime, I was doing an open records request and running into brick wall with the city secretary there. And if you've been watching and following along with Texas City, it's the same thing that the Wayne Daltrofino consulting firm ran into, where basically she wasn't getting anything for you, putting it off. One of the open records requests that I did, she sent back, it would cost $22,000. I
Crazy.
mean, something ridiculous. And so all this rocked along for the last couple of years. And to be honest with you, I don't want to really get into her personal business, but Rachel, being the president the entire time, never backed down, kept moving forward, in the fire the whole time. Uh, I don't even know how many internal affairs investigations that they threw on her, trying to get her to leave, things like that. It was blatant retaliation. And so we kept rocking along, rocking along. Finally, it came time for election time, and then that's when the flames were turned up.
Yeah, and I kind of want to point this out. We can look at different local associations for whatever reason. We've still to this day have not communicated with that Dalforgino media. Pronounce it for me, Wayne Dalforgino.
Dosafino.
Dosafino, it was just kind of by coincidence that he took it upon himself to kind of, dive off into this, because I think he saw the need too, and he saw the criticism from the public, and probably criticism from us. But what I want to point out is really, I think it's important to point out that, like, for example, Galveston Municipal Police Association, Anthony Rogers and his guys, in conjunction with TMPA, the constant social media push outs, for the members out there that are any type of leadership or have any type of involvement with social media or communications, I think it's important to note that you can't prepare to go to war when it's calm. And so for those people out there, that became instrumental, I believe, in kind of overturning this election moving forward, because you had all these associations that band together and united, and they band together with us. And let's just say this too. I don't give a shit what association you're affiliated with. If you're going to work towards the common mission of what we're trying to accomplish, man, let's go. Let's link arms and let's stand together and be unified on this. And that's exactly what happened with this Texas City mayor. And so it was cool to watch you interact as a field rep with their local POA president, and then in conjunction with you and I working together. And so you kind of had all these facets in place. And then we stand before you, we stand here today saying that, hey, this worked. And it worked for the betterment of the citizens of Texas City, because when you have a weak police department, it's not good for the citizens. And the retaliatory things that we saw coming out of Texas City, I can't speak on any civil lawsuits moving forward. But man, I would guess that there would be some probably civil lawsuits that would be eligible for the retaliatory behavior that was at least displayed from the police administration and damn sure the city administration from Dedrick Johnson towards the POA leadership.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak on that right now, but going back to what you were talking about, the different associations and it kind of goes back to the conference. A lot of these friendships were or started at the conference. And you're right. We have a group of us. We all talk all the time at all these different cities. The POA leaderships, as well as me. We have text threads and stuff like that amongst all of us. And they did. They came in and supported Rachel in Texas City, supported the vision of TMPA of what we were trying to do. And and I mean, my hat's off to Rachel for staying in the fire, but also of getting the citizens to come together. And let me tell you something, when they had a candidate forum that they put on, Texas City POA did, and they invited everybody. Of course, the mayor that was the current mayor at the time didn't show up. I think one other city councilman didn't show up, but everybody else did show up, even the ones that were currently on the board. And they outright spoke there. They felt like the councilman, the current sitting councilman, felt like they didn't even have a voice, because the mayor basically was doing a solo mission by himself. And I mean, a lot of people would call it dictatorship, is basically what it came down to. He was not allowing citizens to talk at city council meetings. I mean, the whole nine yards. Anything negative towards him or bringing up issues, he silenced them at city council meeting. And right before this election was some wild stuff where a couple of officers within the department got a petition and got all the young guys that were freshly hired, and they don't want to overstep any boundaries or speak up or nothing like that. Got them to sign this petition, led by another statewide organization, and brought it to the city. And the city, said that they were going to allow them to do the bargaining, which, if you ask today, the overwhelming majority would say the original Texas City, police association or municipal police association is the go to that they're the ones that's been around for decades. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, anyways, from that, everybody that Texas City Police Association backed won the election, and overwhelmingly.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was close to, like, I don't know, 67% for Abel Garza, which is who they ran for mayor, and he's a current city councilman.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for a long time. He knows the city. He knows, all the people in and out that work for the city. And he says that he has a plan to flip Texas City to go back to how it used to be, as far as employees were happy to go to work. You know what I'm saying? They weren't in fear of losing their job and stuff like that. So we'll see where that goes. I know there's going to be some more bombs going off in Texas City in the near future, where you're going to see some things happening over there that we can't talk about. But I think now Texas City is going in the right direction, and hopefully we can put all this in the past. I do know the mayor left them with about I may be wrong, $75 million or $80 million new city hall that he basically didn't go to the voters or anything for. So he left the city with a tab of about $75-80 million on building a new city hall that the citizens didn't have a voice on.
That's crazy. Well, to your point, yeah, there is going to be some stuff coming out, and we're not going to discuss it on the podcast, just for obvious reasons. But I will say this is that, people can go to marriage counseling and people can seek counseling on different aspects. But when the marriage is done and divorce is final and divorce is near, and that's kind of the only option, I think that's where we're at. There's certain things that took place during this time frame that I don't think anybody would want to work under or continue working with. And that's kind of where we're at with Texas City. So again,
Well, and hey, we tried to work with the city. It
yeah,
isn't like we were coming in there to cause an issue. It's easier on us if we go in and be diplomatic about it
right.
and get something done where both sides are happy and agree to it, and
Yep.
everybody goes on down the road and there's no other issues. So I don't want people thinking that like we came in to cause big problems or anything like that. We came in to try to put a fire out, and the fire kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the city refused to work with us.
Well, and I think you said this in a meeting that you and I were a part of in a Zoom meeting preparing for the Texas City election is that, you know, we can fight a war and we don't want to go to war. That's not our objective anytime we do kind of any of these management surveys, but we're happy to go there if that's where you want to take it. And I think that's exactly what happened in Texas City is that they took it there and ultimately we're kind of better at it, right? And the divorce is final and thank you for your service, but it's time for you to go. And so the citizens of Texas City spoke, and we're thankful for that, and we're thankful for new leadership coming in. So our our thoughts and prayers continue with Texas City Municipal Police Association. We're looking forward for the future and to where those men and women can continue just to serve the citizens that they love to serve. So while all that was going on, you also had a referendum going on at another city, a little bit closer to you, so it wasn't as far of a drive. But I think it's important to kind of talk about the referendums and kind of how they started, what you did to advocate for those, and what you did to complete those, because that also passed, I believe, the same night that the Texas
Yes,
City elections came in.
correct. Yes, we ran a collective bargaining referendum at Morgan's Point. It's a very small town just next to LaPorte. It's a city of about 300 people, and they got like a 5-man police force. But to give a little background on that deal was there was a city administrator that worked there. Now the city administrator for that small of a town was making about $370,000 a year, which is insane. But they do take in part of Port of Houston, and that's where they get a lot of their money, or almost all their money is from the Port of Houston. But the city administrator, along with the elected mayor and a couple councilmen, wanted to look at doing away with the police department and having LaPorte take over police services in the city. That would have put 5 of our members out of work. And so we came in and talked and discussed things and got a game plan together and started having meetings with citizens within the city, explaining ways of, keeping the police department, and also in the future what they could do to protect these guys to where they can't just, not because of neglect or
Or
not knowing what to
politics.
do,
Yeah.
or politics, what they could do to try to protect them a little bit. So we discussed all that, explained the differences in civil service, meet and confer, collective bargaining. The only thing that Morgan's Point would fall into would be collective bargaining because of their size of their city. So they couldn't have meet and confer or civil service. The only thing they could have is collective bargaining. So I did a meeting with the citizens, invited the citizens of the city, and it was jam packed, and did an overview of it, and then did a Q&A with the citizens, and got them informed. And that's the thing, is getting the citizens informed of what this stuff is and the importance of it. So the citizens jumped right in. They love their police department down there. One of the this is crazy. One of the biggest supporters and more vocal people down there was he told me he's a ex-president of the Texas Bandito Motorcycle Club,
Wow.
which is crazy. But anyways, the citizens banded together. They did a petition on the city manager to get rid of them. gave it to city council, put enough heat on city council and the mayor to where they ended up terminating the city administrator. So that made an opening for city administrator. I think the citizens basically told the city what route they wanted to go. They wanted a police friendly city administrator. They don't have very many city employees. After the police department, I think they may have two guys in the street department. A city secretary. Not very many. Probably less than 10 or 12 city employees. So so there was citizens that stepped up that wanted to run for city council, wanted to run for mayor. We backed them. Um, we did block walking, even though it was a small city. The citizens in the POA came together and block walk. They had signs made, they had hats, shirts made, the whole 9 yards.
Well, because there's a
Even though
certain percentage that you have to have of the voter population. It's not just like an election where, if 200 people vote and whoever gets the majority, you have to have a certain percentage, right?
Right. And so they got the petition, they got the right amount of signatures. I hand delivered the petition signature page along with the citizen that gathered the signatures to the city secretary. And once you do that, they have to put it on the ballot.
Yeah.
State law, they have to put it on the ballot. So then all the hard work started. Like I said, they got signs, hats, all that stuff made. We had a couple more meetings with the citizens to make sure everybody's on the same page. And it ended up they ended up getting collective bargain. We won 74%, which is a pretty good percentage.
Yeah.
And I think the only ones that voted against it were probably in the group with like the mayor and stuff like that. The mayor got beat. So our person got mayor, and a couple city council members were replaced as well, which is our people. So now they're 100% pro law enforcement, mayor, city council. And this summer will start their very first collective bargaining.
Well, and you know what's cool about that, Leighton, is the fact that, other statewide associations, the cool thing about TMPA is we're committed to the mission. And the mission is that we don't care what size department or association you have. You could be a two-man department, five-man department, or a 5,000. And, the cool thing about it is we all been cops. Every field rep you see through our social media platforms that you've seen on the podcast or heard on the podcast or see on our website, we have lived in the shoes of being a law enforcement officer. And I think that's the true passion that each one of us share as employees at TMPA. And the cool thing is seeing success stories just like this, where a small agency that really needs help is supported by the communities, but it's facilitated by TMPA. And that's the cool thing that I love interacting with you guys and kind of getting to see what you guys do out in the field. It's remarkable, really, just how devoted and how experienced our field representatives are with different aspects. And this is a really good success story. And for those out there that are interested in getting something like this done, man, reach out to us. Our field reps are kind of regionalized. Leighton's there in the Houston area and butts up to our good friend Robbie Campbell over in the Beaumont area, and then Robbie goes all the way up to damn near Tyler, and so does Leighton. So each one field rep's got a region that they take care of, and they do it flawlessly. But if you've got any questions and your department may need collective bargaining or some kind of referendum or just some kind of protection, we can walk you through those processes. And we don't care what statewide association affiliation you have. As long as your association is 50% and you're TMPA, then we're going to help you out. And if not, we're still going to give you the same advice. And that's what's cool about TMPA.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add, because it's the most important thing of this whole conversation me and you're having, is police associations are places that even doesn't have police associations. You need to get involved in the local politics and elections of your city or your county, because it matters. It affects all the officers. You have to remember, I mean, like at a city, as well as a county, those people that are on that commission board or council, they're the ones that set the rules, the regulations, uh, tax rates, all this stuff. And you got to remember, when you're talking about pay raises, stuff like that, there's a pie, and depending on what they come up with is how much you get of that pie. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they don't know your name, they don't know you at all, you're probably going to get a little bit lesser of that pie than if you've made yourself available to them and have a somewhat of a working relationship with your local elected people. So,
Well, and just like I think Clint McNear says in the past, is that if the cops are notorious for saying I don't do politics, I'm not going to get involved in politics, and the old saying goes is either you can have a seat and you can have a fork and spoon in your hand, or you can be the one on the platter, and that's the reality to it, right? And so, to your point, you've got to stay involved with politics within reason. We don't want any members out there that aren't part of a local association dabbling in things that are going to get them I-8 or in trouble. But to your point, you've got to stay engaged with politics and be informed and see what city council is doing. I guarantee you probably 70% of our 35,000 members of Texas law enforcement probably rarely even look at the city agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the facts.
Well, even the basic of it is you should know your city council members' names, city managers' names, mayor's name, and they should know yours.
Yeah.
That's at the very, very least. That's not really getting involved as far as getting in trouble or nothing like that, but they need to see you guys out of uniform as a regular person to where they can put two and two together that, hey, I'm just like you that's on city council, or, we're regular people. We just have a job we do and things like that. And that goes a long ways. Yeah,
it does.
You can't be standoffish towards all of them and not know them and then call and complain to us that, you're not getting anything, or not getting raises and everything else.
Well, and to your point too, is for us to get involved. Don't call us in the ninth inning and say, hey, city council is voting on a budget next week. We need you guys to come here and save the day. We'll be happy to get involved. But those discussions need to have 9 months, 8 months, 10 months before that budget hearing or before salaries are discussed. And so I say that for this reason, is that give us a call, let us be informed, let us be aware, and let us be involved, because we'll be happy to.
Correct. If you don't know where to start or what to do or whatever, give us a call. We can run it down to you and go from there. Like most of us has had a lot of experience in this stuff. I know I've been in it for, I've been at TMPA 16 and a half years, but I've been involved in it for almost 30. And Robbie has vast experience. All of our field reps have experience in doing this stuff, referendums, things like that. So just give us a call and we can help lead you in the right direction and then assist you on whatever your goal is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, you got anything else for us?
Man, that's about it. I just right now, me and Robbie is just going, it's that time of the year for bargaining, stuff like that. We got some new bargaining groups that are about to come on. I don't want to speak too much on it because it's not a done deal.
Yeah.
But in the Houston area, I think you're going to see some guys getting some pretty good pay raises in the Houston area. I know Robbie just TA'd on one that's really good over in the Golden Triangle area.
Yeah.
So look, we're just doing our part out here, trying to help people out, trying to make it a little bit better, for you. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, just hit us up and we'll try to help you as best we can.
Yeah, for sure. And that number is 1-800-848-2088 is our 1-800 number for TMPA. And also you can just drop us, an email at legalcalls@tmpa.org or fieldreps@tmpa.org, and we'll be happy to assist you. Man, Leighton, I can't thank you enough, brother. It's always good seeing you, even though we're on Zoom. This is going to be a podcast, audio only. And, hope to see you soon. We and Leighton, if you want to be a part of the conference, if you want to come hang out with Leighton Guarnere and Tyler Owen, myself at the conference, we'd love to see you, love to have you. Get on TMPA.org, register you and your family, and y'all come to the conference July 24th and through the 26th, and you'll get to hang out with field reps just like Leighton. So, again, Leighton, I appreciate you. Appreciate all the work you do. And I guess the last thing we got to say is you guys take care. God bless you. And as always, may God bless Texas. We're out.